Hello children, in this part we will discuss about the phases of photosynthesis. So in this part I will only discuss with the light phase, which is also known as Hill reaction or photochemical phase or light dependent phase. So what does that mean? That the entire thing will take place uh, in the presence of light. So this process, where does this process take place? It takes place in the thylakoid. Also, you can understand that the thylakoids, one over the other, they are stacked, they form grana. So for learning, light and grana. Algae, you all know life's good. Algae, there are many equipments which are made out of this algae. So many gadgets are made. So algae, you remember, light reaction takes place in the grana or in the thylakoid. Thylakoid, where are they present? In the chloroplast. So in the presence of sunlight, this light reaction takes place. Now what exactly happens in this light reaction? There is a formation of NADPH, that is a reducing power. Along with that, what else is formed? ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So together NADPH and ATP, they form assimilatory power. NADPH is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Okay? So formation of NADPH and ATP, that is assimilatory power. This is one thing which takes place in light phase. And the second thing is there is a byproduct which is released, and that byproduct is oxygen. So that is involved in this process. Okay. Now we will see step by step process that what is taking place in this reaction of the light phase. So first of all, once again, let me tell you, photosynthesis, this process we have discussed where it takes place, what are the different theories of mechanism of opening and closing of stoma, and in the previous sessions we have discussed according to sugar concentration theory, potassium ion concentration theory, how this opening and closing of stomata takes place. Then in the immediate previous slide session I have discussed about the structure of the leaf, which explains the mesophyll cells, their location, palisade spongy cells, where actually the photosynthesis takes place. So this photosynthesis can be completed, is completed in two phases, light phase and dark phase, and there are different names given. So for light phase it is Hill's reaction, photochemical phase, or light dependent phase. Photo means light, chemical means whatever chemical changes are taking place. So photochemical change, Hill reaction, because this name is given on the name of the scientist, and light dependent phase, meaning without light this will not take place. So formation of NADPH, what is it? There is it is a reducing power. Along with that NADPH and ATP, they together form assimilatory power. Full form of NADPH is very important, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, and the byproduct which is formed is oxygen. Now we will see what all steps take place in this light phase or Hill reaction. So once again, please learn this, very important, where this takes place in the thylakoid and in the presence of sunlight. So light reaction, LR is light reaction. Here light reaction takes place. First step is excitation of chlorophyll or activation of chlorophyll. So this solar radiation, this chlorophyll plus light, chlorophyll is able to absorb the radiant energy, the solar energy from the sun, solar energy or radiant energy. This chlorophyll is able to absorb when it is exposed to light, and this is in the form of photon. So chlorophyll, when it is exposed to light, it helps in absorbing these photons as a energy bundle. Okay? And it is the smallest, photon is the smallest unit of light energy. It is represented as h nu. You may write, you may not write this, not necessary. So chlorophyll plus light absorbs photons from sun and they get activated. Then the next step, which is followed immediately, that is photolysis of water or a splitting of water. Photo means light, in the presence of light, when the water is broken down. So So that is called as photolysis. The definition comes. So what is how will you define photolysis of water? It is splitting of water molecules. Now they will break down into H plus and OH. You must have read it in chemistry. Whenever water molecules break down, it releases H plus and OH. There is a rearrangement of these OH ions which will form molecular oxygen, and along with that electrons are also released. So what is photolysis? Splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and hydroxyl. If you are writing oxygen, that will also be accepted. So the first step is excitation of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll will absorb solar or radiant energy. It will get activated and release electrons which will help in the breaking or splitting of water into H plus and OH minus ions. So that is the second step. Then we move to the third step, and the third step is the third step. So as you can see here, molecules of water, 4 molecules of water are shown here, and they split into H plus and OH minus. So from this, H plus and OH minus जो है, it will get oxidized and it will release electrons. They will get rearranged from water and form oxygen. They will get rearranged, they will form water, and oxygen is evolved. ठीक है. Important thing over here is photolysis takes place in grana. So this all is taking place in the thylakoid. So first step was activation, second हो गया splitting of water, third is production of molecular oxygen. ये ऑक्सीजन कहाँ से बन रहा है? ये जो हाइड्रोक्सिल आयन रिलीज हुआ है, ठीक है, वहां से बन रहा है. इन योर बुक्स मे बी इट इज गिवन डायरेक्टली दैट H प्लस एंड ऑक्सीजन आर फॉर्म. तो ये ऑक्सीजन बनेगा कहाँ से? यहाँ से. तो इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है, बिकॉज व्हाट इज द इक्वेशन? 6CO2 प्लस 6H2O. तो ये जो 6H2O है, ये पहले क्या फॉर्म करता है? वाटर एंड ऑक्सीजन. ठीक है. तो पहला बाय प्रोडक्ट, मतलब इस फोटोसिंथेसिस रिएक्शन में पहले क्या बनता है? ग्लूकोज की ऑक्सीजन. What is formed first? Oxygen. This can be 1 mark MCQ. Carbon dioxide does not release oxygen. ठीक है. Oxygen is released from water. This is another question which can be asked कि ये जो ऑक्सीजन रिलीज हुआ, ये कहाँ से आ रहा है? CO2 से आ रहा है कि वाटर से आ रहा है? तो it is coming from water. Carbon dioxide is not helping in the release of oxygen. I hope it is clear. So the third step is clear. And in your books, the equation is given like this: 2 molecules of water in the presence of 4 photons, they will release 4 H plus oxygen molecule and 4 electrons. So any equation you write down, that is correct, but that was for your understanding that this equation where water gets split into H plus and OH minus, this OH minus gets oxidized and rearranged to give or to evolve oxygen gas along with some water molecules. तो ये जो water भी आ रहा है, ये वही water है, ये लेकिन नया form होता है. This is newly formed water, right? Then the next step, fourth step is photophosphorylation. Now what is phosphorylation? Let us understand that. Phosphorylation का मतलब होता है ADP when it gets converted to ATP. ADP is adenosine diphosphate and it gets converted to ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. और ये कैसे होता है? इसमें एनर्जी कंज्यूम करते हैं. तो प्रोडक्शन ऑफ एनर्जी रिच ATP molecules from this ADP molecules with the help of energy from these electrons. और ये कहाँ से आया? ये भी हमारे पास photolysis से आया. So from the photolysis of water by adding 1 phosphate to ADP, that inorganic phosphate, IP is inorganic phosphate. This is taking place in the presence of light, so we call it photophosphorylation. Definition इसकी आती है बेटे, बहुत important है. So photophosphorylation, what is it? Production of energy rich ATP molecules from ADP molecules with the help of energy that is released from the electrons released in the photolysis of water. ठीक है. And 1 phosphate will add to this ADP which will result in the formation of ATP. ठीक. Then the fifth and the last process is production of reducing agent. So reducing agent is NADP. इसमें जो H plus निकला था कहाँ से? Photolysis of water से. OH minus ने बना लिया ऑक्सीजन और वाटर, और ये जो H प्लस था, H और OH था ना, OH ने बना लिया मॉलिक्यूलर ऑक्सीजन, एंड कुछ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स निकले जिन्होंने एनर्जी दे दी फोटोफॉस्फोराइलेशन के लिए, देन वाटर भी बन गया उसी से। अब बचा H प्लस, तो H प्लस NADP से जाके जुड़ जाएगा एंड इट विल फॉर्म रिड्यूसिंग पार, दैट इज NADPH, दैट इज निकोटिनामाइड एडेनिन डाइन्यूक्लियोटाइड फॉस्फेट. Children, please learn the full form very carefully with the complete and the proper spelling. I hope I made myself clear with this light phase or light reaction. So let us take a quick recap. I told you photosynthesis that occurs in two phases, light phase and dark phase. Light phase, since we are talking about light phase, I told you it takes place in the thylakoid or grana, and dark phase which we will talk in the next session, that takes place in the stroma of the chloroplast. You all know the structure of chloroplast, we have discussed before. Then the first step is activation of chlorophyll. In the activation of chlorophyll, this chlorophyll is exposed to light, it absorbs radiant energy in the form of photons, and they become activated. Then photolysis of water is the second step, in which water gets split into H plus and OH. ये H plus आ जाएगा NADP के पास, NADPH बनाएगा reducing power, OH minus rearrange हो जाएगा, it will help in the formation of molecular oxygen, production of molecular oxygen. Next is photophosphorylation. यहाँ से जो एनर्जी निकलेगी, इलेक्ट्रॉन्स निकलेंगे, उससे ADP से ATP बन जाएगा, एंड प्रोडक्शन ऑफ रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट, दैट इज NADPH. ये H यहाँ से आके इसमें अटैच हो गया. So these are 5 points which complete the light phase. Now let us see what are the end products which are formed in light reaction. NADPH, ATP and oxygen. ठीक है, लाइट रिएक्शन. तो ये बात समझ में आ गई कि जब लाइट रिएक्शन होगा या फोटोसिंथेसिस में पहले क्या बनेगा, ऑक्सीजन बनेगा. ATP or NADPH together we call it as assimilatory pair, that is also formed. So I hope this is clear, this full complete light reaction or light phase, and in the next part we will talk about the dark phase or the dark reaction. So thank you children, hope each and every step is clear, and please learn and prepare it. Thank you children.